I rise as Victor Ndoma-Egba, Senator representing Cross River Central, and a proud in-law of the mover of this motion, the Iko Handi Bonine Nuwagburu. Mr. President, I rise to second this motion. And in doing so, let me make a little confession that my wife is Igbo. And that is what makes me an in-law to the Iko. So what has happened for me has real life practical implications on me. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, once upon a time in the history of this country, we had a Justice Kalu Anya, who was Chief Justice of Borno State.
Yes.
At the time, Justice Kalu Anya, an Igbo man, was Chief Justice, they were called Chief Justices at that time, was Chief Justice of Borno State. A Yoruba man was the Attorney General of Borno State. I think his name was Alaye Deno or something like that. And the Secretary to the State Government was a non-indigene. This was many, many years ago, sir. Many years ago, I was a youth corper at that time. And then today, 30-something years later, we are being told that an Igbo woman cannot have opportunities in another part of Igbo land. In the same country where years ago, an Igbo man could be Chief Justice of another state in the northern part of this country. Are we progressing or we are retrogressing? I think we are retrogressing. It is not a good development for women, especially at a time when a woman is also Chief Justice of Nigeria. That is the most unfortunate bit of it, Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Now, Mr. President, what is the power of the Chief Justice in this kind of situation? I take you to Section 238 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Subsection 2. And with your kind permission,
read, please.
The appointment of a person to the office of a Justice of the Court of Appeal shall be made by the President on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council. By the President on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council. Let me also, with your kind indulgence, take us to the third schedule of the Constitution on the functions of the Federal Judicial Service Commission, which the mover of the motion has highlighted. Federal Judicial Service Commission, I think section paragraph 12 of the third schedule. The Federal Judicial Service Commission shall comprise the following members. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, who shall be the chairman. Paragraph 13, the Commission shall have power to A, advise the National Judicial Council in nominating persons for appointment as respects appointments to the office of Chief Justice of Nigeria, a Justice of the Supreme Court, the President of the Court of Appeal, a Justice of the Court of Appeal, and it goes further down. Then we now move to the National Judicial Council, paragraph 20. The National Judicial Council shall comprise the following members. Again, the same Chief Justice. of Nigeria who shall be chairman. Then we go down to paragraph 21, the powers of the National Judicial Council. It includes to recommend to the President from among the list of persons submitted to it by the Federal Judicial Service Commission, persons for appointment to the offices of Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice of the Supreme Court, the President and Justices of the Court of Appeal, the Chief Judge and Judges of the Federal High Court. So, as the Deputy Senate President explained, it is a process, and at both levels of the formal process, the Chief Justice of Nigeria is the chairman. So whatever issues they are that may have necessitated her not being sworn in ought to have been sorted out either at the level of the Federal Judicial Service Commission or the National Judicial Council. Now, the moment the President appoints based on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council, both the National Judicial Council is functus officio. There is no role reserved for the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The moment the President has appointed, the role of the Chief Justice of Nigeria is perfunctory or ceremonial. She must swear. Now, after appointment, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, how do you stop the swearing in? The moment the appointment is made by the President, we have judicial authorities on this. The person appointed ceases to be a judge of the High Court. There are decided cases on that. So, Justice Ofor, as at the time the appointment was made by Mr. President, had ceased to be a judge of the Abia State High Court. She was now a justice of the Court of Appeal. And the only way to remove her is the way the Constitution provides for removal of justices. So whether or not she is sworn in, as far as I'm concerned, she is a justice of the Court of Appeal. Because what has happened is purely ceremonial. She's been appointed. Now, I am told from what we read in the papers that they were relying on a certain policy. I don't know where that policy is from, but I do know that Section 2 of the Federal Character Act, Federal Character Commission Act, provides very, very clearly a married woman shall continue to lay claim to her state of origin for the purpose of implementation of the federal character formula at the national level. My understanding of this provision is that it is in addition to her claim to her husband's place. That is my understanding of it. And why is that provision? Why is it couched in that manner? It is couched in that manner in the event that the marriage fails. If the marriage fails, she can have a place to return to. But if the marriage is working, she has two options: her husband's place and her place of birth, or her place of origin. But if we do not agree with that interpretation, then it means that that section, if we insist that it says it shall be her place of origin, like the Deputy Senate President explained, it will be unconstitutional because it will be inconsistent with the provisions of Section 42 of the Constitution. And why will it be inconsistent with that? It will be inconsistent because it will be discriminatory. It will be discriminatory. It will be a policy targeted at women, not men. And not just women, it will be targeted at women like my wife who are married to people who are not from their home states. So it's discriminatory. And for that reason, it is inconsistent. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, what are the implications of what has just happened? I will take the implication on the judiciary.
Order, please.
I will take the implication on the judiciary. If we allow the non-swearing in of Justice Ifeoma Ofor, then it means that the judiciary is limiting itself to the choices available to it. What will be the consequence? The consequence will be that the judiciary will keep promoting mediocrity, because capable hands that are available to it would have been excluded by a policy as obnoxious as the one that they are trying to rely on. That policy is unconstitutional. So the implications for the judiciary is negative, because you will be limiting yourself. You have a capable judge, but because she's married to somebody who is not from that state, very soon we'll take it to the local government, and very soon, she's not from the same ward as her husband. The implication will be negative on the judiciary. The other implication, Mr. President, which is even the most important one, is on the sanctity of marriage. I believe that in every religion, whether it is Christianity, whether it's Islam, whether it's Hinduism, marriage is sacred. The family is sacred. Now, if we now say, because of marriage, a woman cannot rise to the limits of her endowments, it means that for career-minded women, we are putting them in a difficult situation of making a choice between their marriage and their career. So it will immediately compromise the sanctity of marriage. So I join the Deputy Senate President in urging the Senate to resolve that Justice Ofor be sworn in, and that has seniority, because our profession is based on seniority. What they have done, if she's sworn in today, she's automatically a junior to those who have already been sworn in. Not only should she be sworn in, but her seniority should be restored to the date that others were sworn in. So I support this motion, and I say it has very grave implications for the women's folk. The serious gains have been made by our women, and they should make more gains and not begin to go backwards. So I support this motion in particular.